and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
And yes, here we are again another day serving the community as your consumer advocate. We want to help you understand your buying decisions, make you just a bit more street smart out there. Consumer Quarterback Show powered by the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. We always help you win in your real estate deals if you're buying, selling, or investing as well. We got a great lineup for you today. We're going to be talking about real estate, the local market. We're having Pinellas County Sheriff Bob Gualtieri as well as a special guest on the show. Before we jump into this great content, I want to touch on just a couple of properties that we have listed here in Tampa Bay. 1010 Bay Esplanade. This is a gorgeous property on the north side of Pinellas, the beaches and Pinellas County. North side of the beach, that is, and 1010 Bay Esplanade. Beautiful real estate property here, 3151 square feet, 4 bedrooms, 3 bath, 2-car garage. What I love about this property is you have a private apartment, which serves for a great rental, and then you also have a private sun deck on the 3rd story overlooking the beautiful intercoastal waterways and the Gulf of Mexico. See all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. All right, let's jump right into it. We've got Pinellas County Sheriff Bob Gualtieri on the show. Welcome back, sir.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Hey, my pleasure. And yes, I guess we'll start with, what a challenging year we had last year, and just want to talk to you about, what you've done with your leadership and maybe some of the lessons you guys have learned over there.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's definitely been a significant experience over the last year. Of course, we started out with all the COVID challenges, and then after the George Floyd incident, you start putting it all together, and it was a long, as they say, a long hot summer. And some of the things I think we learned is how important it is to effectively communicate with the public, and that there be clear lines of communication and clear direction, that everybody understand what the expectations are. I think that was, and still remains to a degree, a problem with some of the COVID restrictions is that people want to do what is required of them, what's necessary to stay safe, but it has to be clearly communicated. And I think that we ran into that a little bit, especially early on, where some of the things that were out there weren't as clear as they needed to be. And of course, with the policing issues and making sure that law enforcement is acting the way the community expects us to act, and again, communication. I think one of the things we found there was a lot of the things that were being called for in the Tampa Bay area were already being done, and that we already had those things in place. And it was illuminating to me that we needed to communicate better. We needed to let people know, and still do, about the initiative. So, as an example, is people are calling for these, no-knock search warrants. Well, they're already prohibited. Policies about not shooting at cars. Well, we have had those type of policies for years. Doing more with mental health. Well, we started a mental health unit here in the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office back in 2016. So you can go on and on about all these things, and when I would talk to people about it, they'd say, they were calling for it, they'd say, well, I didn't know that. Well, I didn't know that. So, exactly. Again, communication is important. I think those are some of the things that we learned.
Yeah, absolutely. Those are all great topics, and mental health and the George Floyd incident, of course. And I think it's misinformation, too, nowadays. You see a lot of misinformation, whether it's social or even, some of the major, news organizations. I think that causes challenges for law enforcement as well. And I think I mentioned to you last time, my cousin's actually sheriff down in Hendry County, and we definitely back the blue, we back the sheriff's departments, and it's such a challenging time. Have you seen more people trying to get into law enforcement, or has those numbers subsided?
No, we really haven't seen a significant downturn, really, here. We haven't. But, now we're getting people applying from other places where the situations are more challenging, people from out of state.
Sure.
But, we still get, for any group that we hire, generally when we hire in groups of about 20. And we probably, for each group or class, if you will, we probably get 400 or 500 applicants.
Wow.
So it's we get a lot of applicants. Now, some of those people, are not the type of people we're looking for sometimes for a variety of reasons, but we still get applicants.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's good. So, and you see, any comment on some of the stuff happening across the country in different departments? I know we've heard, sometimes there's a mask mandate, and then you've seen other sheriff's departments saying, well, we're not going to enforce that. Any comment or ideas about that?
Well, as far as the mask mandate goes, I think it's a tough situation, and again, it goes back to communication. Early on in the pandemic, is that the messaging is that, no need to wear masks, don't wear masks, hard to get, there wasn't a call for it. Then all of a sudden, they pivoted on a dime, and oh my God, everybody should wear masks. Well, the problem in that transition was the philosophy changed and the rationale changed behind it, but they didn't communicate that. So that led to people are confused, and then it becomes, well, why would I do this when you told me before not to do it? And then it became, well, you're not doing it, we're telling you to do it, so somebody's got to enforce it, and they try and get law enforcement to do it, where I don't think it's a good idea for law enforcement to be involved in that. And what we saw here in Pinellas was, by and large, the majority of people are cooperating, and most of the people are compliant. You're never going to have perfect. Perfect doesn't exist anyplace, and we keep an eye on it. But I can tell you that over the last 2 months or so, after we told people that we saw a lot of noncompliance and asked them to step up, and we explained it better, we've been checking restaurants and bars every week. We check probably about 250 where the deputies are actually going in, checking, keeping an eye on it. But we only see noncompliance at maybe around 6-7%. Yeah. So that's great. That's fantastic. And so people are doing. We don't see a problem in the stores, shopping, like the big box stores or grocery stores or other businesses. So I think people get it. In other places, they're taking a different approach where they are issuing citations and enforcing it that way. But we have not done that here at all, and I don't intend to do that. Yeah,
I think that's where the line should be. Is people, and especially that what you just mentioned started with the Fauci flip flop. No mask, and then yes, we do need masks. And by the way, if you just joined us, we're talking with Pinellas County Sheriff Bob Gualtieri here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes, and on this whole topic, you see different celebrities kind of weighing in on different things happening. And I like what Denzel Washington's kind of seen, at least what I've seen on some of his videos that he would release. It says that, it's more about the home. It's more about the family. A lot of the parents are missing. The father figures are missing. So that we're talking about single parent homes where you find a lot of the problems when you have a interaction with law enforcement.
No, undoubtedly, is that so much of what the criminal justice system and what law enforcement ends up dealing with is a result of, at its core, what causes it are socioeconomic issues. And then that results in a whole variety of circumstances. The people we come in contact with, unfortunately, sometimes we come in contact with just some bad people. They're just people out there that just do bad things. But the majority of it is people who, because of a variety of situations, are not bad people. They may have done something wrong. Right. But when you're trying to figure out the why to prevent it from happening again, we keep coming back time and time again to largely socioeconomic issues. And as it relates to young people, it's the lack of good role models and guidance. And again, sometimes it's economics. It's the whole variety of those circumstances where these young kids are just in a tough situation because they only have a limited caregiver, which sometimes is not a mom or a dad. Yep. Sometimes a grandparent, or kids are in foster care or whatever it is, and people are stepping up and trying to help. Yep. But it's tough. It's very tough. So what it comes down to at the end, really, time and time again, is the cause, and then it raises the question, what do you do about it, is largely driven by socioeconomic issues, whether it's the schools. Remember the Tampa Bay Times did that big series now going back, I don't know, a year and a half, 2 years ago, about the failure factories in the schools in St. Petersburg. What's the cause of that? It gets back to socioeconomic issues, exactly. And those are the areas. So and that, of course, trickles over into what we do as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, Sheriff, right on point. I agree wholeheartedly on that. It starts in the home. It starts in the morals, the ethics, the values that you instill in these young folks, and that's why growing up playing Pop Warner football, Little League baseball, all those things really helped mold my character and a lot of our friends in the way that we kind of grew up, playing sports, being involved in the community. And, on that note, my wife and I are also looking into, we're about to bring in a foster child and, trying to do what we can do and building, a life for, a young man or woman, picking 0 to 4 years so we can, kind of teach them, the way that we would like them to be taught. But yeah, so the community involvement, that leads us to our next topic. I would love to talk about community involvement. What can we do as citizens, as taxpayers? How can we contribute and help?
Well, there's a lot of tangible things, but I would say, one of the things is to become knowledgeable. And one of the things that is a challenge is when people form opinions, have views that are media-driven, quite frankly,
exactly.
Because a lot of it is sound bites and is not necessarily accurate. I think that that's something that everybody should have a responsibility to do is to become knowledgeable in the facts and flush everything out before they form opinions about certain things. And that is important. And it becomes a point of frustration for me as we're dealing with things and things are put out in a certain way, and then you're talking to community groups and people have these views, but it's all based on a false narrative. So I think that is something that really incumbent on everybody to be as knowledgeable as you can, understand that people have lives and they have go about their businesses on a daily basis. But across the board is just as far as government's concerned, law enforcement's concerned, public affairs are concerned, is be knowledgeable with the facts. On a more tangible way. There's a lot of opportunities to get involved and to give back. You talk about these kids, and whether it's mentoring programs, and there's a whole lot of them out there. There's corporate mentoring programs. One that has been very effective is Raymond James has this program. It's called Lunch Pals, and they partner with a lot of businesses where people are able to mentor these kids. It's like 1 hour. Periodically where they go in and have lunch with these kids. I mean, those are little things that are huge things, and they do make a difference. Big Brothers, Big Sisters, and all these other organizations that are out there where people can get involved. So there's ways, again, balanced against everybody's also got to take care of their own affairs and their own lives and their own kids and everything else. So it's a balancing act, but there's ways to get involved in the community.
That's right. Yeah, and a lot of great churches around the area as well. That's another great point. A lot of churches across the country were shut down and then they would allow other businesses to be open. Luckily, we didn't see that. I think we got a great governor here and Ron DeSantis, and just recently. I want to talk a little bit about big tech, and I think it gets at the point of what you made about facts. There's two separate sets of facts these days, it seems, and big tech is, really, really causing some of that misinformation, and censoring, of course, is happening for the first time we've seen. Any comment on big tech and what I like about what Ron DeSantis has done here, our governor? I saw that press conference the other day. $100,000 daily fine if they censor someone that's running for political office. Yeah.
Well, free speech is very important, but facts are very important too. And I think that, unfortunately, I think that social media is unquestionably here to stay. It's part of our fabric. It's not going anywhere, whatever the various platforms are. But it's also dangerous because it perpetuates misinformation, and people can get on and see whatever they want unchecked. And so that's not good. And the people need to remember that it needs to be filtered. It needs to be verified. And, like I said, again, it causes frustration because we end up having to, chase our tail because somebody put something out on social media, and then it becomes fact. It becomes the rumor mill, which becomes perception's reality. And where do they get the perceptions? They get it off of something that anybody can post whatever they want, and then it takes off on social media, and before you know it is that did you know and did you hear, and oh my God, this is terrible. In reality, it has never happened.
Exactly.
So that's it's not good. But it's the world we live in today, and it affects the kids too. And so many things are out there on social media. that these young people are influenced by
Yeah.
at a young age that, again, is not healthy sometimes.
Exactly. Yeah. And we work with Florida Firearms Academy. Thomas King's the owner, and he comes in and we talk about gun safety and concealed carry and the constant attack on the Second Amendment. Some of the themes that come from when he's appearing on the show is that there's off-duty deputies, people coming in. And I think the point is, like, you're not going to see all the crime that's happening on Bay News 9 or whatever news channel. There's a lot of stuff that happens. You got gang activity here in the area. So, kind of back to that point of, how can people protect themselves? What do we need to look out for as citizens?
Well, law enforcement is limited, as far as where we could be. We can't be everywhere all the time. And so, people need to be aware of their surroundings, help by being our eyes and ears, report things. But I also, support everybody protecting themselves as well, because the reality is that when bad things happen, they tend to happen very quickly. Yeah. They end very quickly, and majority of the time the cops aren't there until after it's over with. So, I think it's important that when people are so inclined, that they take those necessary steps to protect themselves. And if it means being a concealed carry permit holder, if it means, having firearms in your house, more power to you. But just do it in a responsible way and learn how to do it effectively. And I think that people also have to, to a certain degree, be responsible for themselves and take care of themselves and their families. Because as much as we try, and we'd love to be everywhere all the time, that isn't going to happen.
Yeah, just impossible. And what about school safety? Wanted to ask you, we got about a minute left here. Just school safety, got deputies on site. What's the latest update there?
Well, it's a balancing act with COVID. Like in the Pinellas County schools, there's about 100,000 kids in the Pinellas County schools. Probably there's a little bit more probably now than, more than half. That are probably back in the schools, and the other half are probably still on distance learning. So it's a very different environment with the drills and with the active assailant response protocols, et cetera. It's still there and it's still important, but we're having to balance some of that with also not exposing these kids to COVID dangers by some of the contacts. So there's still work to be done. I think that we're making progress with school safety. I can tell you right now, is the schools in Florida are safer today than they were in 2018. We're pushing up here on February 14th, 3 years of the anniversary of the Stoneman Douglas shooting. Yeah. And I can tell you that based on the work of the Stoneman Douglas Commission that I chair and the laws that have come out of the legislature and the efforts of the school districts and the Department of Education, is the schools are safer today than they were in 2018. So that's good, but there's still work to be done.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much for all you're doing, keeping us safe out here. We greatly appreciate you. We appreciate all your deputies, the men and women serving our community, and we'd love to have you back again on the show. Thanks so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Glad to do it anytime.
All righty. Have a good day. Thanks so much. All right. That's Pinellas County Sheriff Bob Gualtieri on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Great stuff. Community involvement. Lots of ways that you can be involved here. And it's kind of like our random act of kindness. We always say do something kind, get involved. Lots of ways. He mentioned a couple of great organizations and groups. Ray J has the Lunch Pals he talked about, the Big Brother, Big Sisters. Lots of great ways you can be involved in the community. So stay with us when we come back. Diane Vance, Fairway Independent Mortgage. We're going to talk about real estate mortgage, what's happening with the stock market, the real estate market. We're going to dive deep on that. Stay with us right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, and we'll see you at consumerqb.com.
Thanks for listening to My Daddy's Show. For more information, go to consumerqb.com.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
Hey, Brandon Rhymes here, host of the Consumer Quarterback Show, owner of the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty, with your Pasco County real estate market update for residential listings in Pasco County. At the end of 2020, December 2020, we had 1,361 properties available. That is down 1,429 less listings, and that's down 51.2% year over year. Now, looking at the sales, you had 1,260 properties sell at the end of December 2020. That's plus 156 sales, plus 14.7%. So dividing the solds by the listed, that gives us a 93% absorption rate. Wow, 93% absorption rate, and it's only a 1.08 month supply. It's a strong seller's market in Pasco County, and my wife Lindsay and I own a top real estate team here in Tampa Bay, top 1% ranked real estate team here in Tampa Bay. So if you're selling property, we would love to talk to you to help you maximize the exposure, maximize the profits, and I'm a certified negotiation expert, so we can help you win in your real estate deals. Give us a call, 813-750-0550, 813-750-0550. Also, you can view the website at consumerqb.com. That's consumerqb.com. Thank you so much. We greatly appreciate your support, and we'll see you on the radio. 4 o'clock drive time, AM 860, The Answer.
My friends, when choosing a listing agent to sell your home, their track record is critically important. Dennis Prager here for Brandon and Lindsay Rhymes, owners of Platinum MVP Team at Keller Williams Real Estate. They're consistently rated by the MLS in the top 1% of all Tampa Bay realtors, and that's a big deal. Brandon and Lindsay are always among the top realtors in the state. Call them today at 813-750-0550.
Find them at platinummvpteam.kw.com.
You're listening to the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-670-7372.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP Team, Keller Williams Realty. We have our mortgage expert on the line, Diane Vance, Fairway Independent Mortgage. Hey, Diane.
Hey, Brandon. How you doing today?
I'm well, thank you. And yourself?
I'm great. Awesome. Yeah.
Good to hear. What's new and topical in your world?
Well, as you know, the stock market has went up this week for the third or fourth day in the road, and the bond market's pretty calm, so there's not really anything, changing there. It's stable. And the inflation rate, they're saying that inflation, they're not concerned if the inflation, it's about 1.5%, but they're not concerned if it goes above 2.5%. That's the normal, range that they get concerned about inflation rates, because as we know, with COVID and people getting vaccinations and people getting better and people getting back to some normalcy, you're bound to have some inflation because people would be going back to work.
Right.
So they're saying that the feds are saying they're not concerned, especially Chicago Fed. They're not concerned about that if the inflation rate goes to 3%. So I think it feels like we're in a very stable market. Yet this year they're expecting interest rates to stay very low still. I mean, they may go up slightly this year, but it's not going to be. I mean, anytime you get in the 2s or the 3s, it's excellent. So
yeah,
it's going to be that's super good. So just depending on credit scores and things like that, that's what depends on your interest rate. But they're predicting that interest rates are going to be still good this year, and it's going to be it's going to continue to be a big purchase market with not as many refinances. But I wanted to let you know, Fairway was actually #1 to work for about the 7th year in the row, 6th year in the row. My anniversary was yesterday.
Awesome.
So every year I've worked here, we've actually been the #1 company to work for. So if anybody out there is listening and they want a great company, Fairway is a great company. So always come to just give me a call and we can talk. So
great reputation in the industry. Absolutely.
Yeah, we have a good reputation because we do know what we're doing, and but we're hiring loan officers, assistants, processors, underwriters, everybody, because our big goal this year is we did about $66 billion.
Wow. Awesome. Good numbers. Well, we're coming into our break here, but when we come back, I want to dive a little bit deeper into opportunity out there. I want to talk about some of the opportunities in the market and investor side, renter side, lots of good things happening. Diane Vance, Fairway Independent Mortgage. Brandon Rhymes here. I'm your host. We'll be right back after this short break, but follow us online. If you're listening to this, pull out your smartphone, download our podcast. We've got a great podcast out there. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out consumerqb.com. We'll be right back.
This is Chris Voss, former FBI lead hostage negotiator and owner of the Black Swan Group, and you're listening to Consumer Quarterback Show hosted by my friend Brandon Rhymes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
Brandon, we are absolutely poised to continue. Just say the word. Alrighty, stand by, please.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You're listening to the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty, top 1% ranked real estate team here in Tampa Bay. You know, it's interesting. I have conversations in real estate all the time, and there's 25,000 plus realtors in Tampa Bay. And we are in the top 500. So we're in the top 1%. We got a great team. We'd love to help you if you're buying, selling, or investing. And it's such a great market right now. We'd love to talk to you if you are in the space. We got some great properties as well. We got some really hot listings here. I just listed a property. Talk a little bit about some vacant land here. I've got land that you can build on, commercial opportunities, residential opportunities, about 15 or so vacant parcels of land. So if you're looking to build, if you're a developer, investor, give us a call. We'd love to talk to you. The hotline, by the way, is 813-750-0550. You can call or text our hotline at 813-750-0550.
You used to call me on my cell phone.
And check out this property on Waters Avenue. This is over by I-275 Waters Avenue. You've got a great opportunity. It's a corner lot. There's a building that is being constructed right now as well. It's 0.44 acres, almost a half acre of land. Mixed-use zoning. There is a auto zone right across the street. Some great restaurants right in the area. So great addition to your commercial asset portfolio if you're looking to build. Could be a great car lot, car dealership. Also 1401 Seminole Boulevard. This one's down in Largo. Great opportunity. Corner lot, 0.82 acres, almost a full acre, right on the corner. Great opportunity. Lots of office, lots of retail, lots of opportunity here in Tampa Bay. 1401 Seminole Boulevard as well. And see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. And this segment is brought to you by Golf Cart Depot. Golf Cart Depot, they've got some really awesome opportunities. They'll bring the golf cart to you as well. They've got 2 locations, one in Tampa and one in Clearwater. And they've got Easy Go, Cushman, Star EV, pre-owned and new golf carts available. Reach out to Golf Cart Depot. Make sure you let them know the real estate quarterback sent you. All right, we got Diane Vance, Fairway Independent Mortgage on the show. Talk about a local lender. Talk about number one company to work for. So, Diane, you guys are hiring. You're growing, I'm sure, and looking to hire right now.
Yeah, we are looking for loan officers, processors, loan assistants with some experience, and underwriters. Because we are growing, as I stated earlier, we closed $66 billion. Our goal this year is $100 billion. So of course, as we grow, we hire. Yes, Fairway is. Matter of fact, it's supposed to the actual, as far as working, the number one company to work for. It sounds like, I know we're in the running for the Tampa Bay area as well. That should be out probably in a few weeks, they said. So, yes, it's amazing. So,
what do they like about it, Diane? Fairway Independent Mortgage being a number one company to work for. Unpack that for us. Everybody likes the idea that we have a lot of support. So we have a lot of corporate support. Even though we're a national company, it feels like we're a local company because they let us. We know our marketplace, so they let us run our branches like we want to because of the local market. And they want to make loans happen. There isn't any, they don't have extra overlays. They don't put obstacles in the way so that you can actually get things closed and done. It's a very can-do attitude all the way from our CEO all the way down. Every manager, I mean, literally, if you have an issue, you just go. We have a special, like a 911 for something that comes up, and literally within seconds, they are on the phone taking care of it. So, yeah, it's
it's funny because people can hardly believe that, because there's a lot of horror stories out there from other mortgage companies, that have been in the business, from loan officers. But we often say it's the Disney of mortgages, that we work for. So it's just the attitude that the company. We have a lot of good people that work for us, and it's their attitude all the way. Humble. That's what we have our goals. Our mantra is, we want to be humble and smart, and still have fun and all that good stuff. So yeah, we're excited.
That's awesome. Sounds like a great motto. Our feel-good story of the day is talking about a COVID-19 vaccination site that calls a Chick-fil-A manager for help after traffic backs up. So, Chick-fil-A, they get you through pretty quickly, right? So the Chick-fil-A manager says, we're about being the most caring company in the world. And, so it seems like you have that caring culture there.
Oh yeah, yes. Matter of fact, we did a big food bank out in Arizona. We hired a gentleman from CNN, and he's one of our producers, and he went out and we do food banks. We have a Fairway Cares that we send packages to people that have cancer or anybody that's in need. Yeah. So it's a very giving company. We do our veterans. We still do our veteran giveaway. They do a lot of service dogs, things like that. So it's a very caring company. It's just not about doing mortgages. It's about being involved in the community and actually taking care of the community.
Yeah, it's more and more. I think we really need to act locally, shop locally, work with companies that are here locally. And we always talk about Diane Vance here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, Fairway Independent Mortgage, local lender. She's a regional manager. She's got 30 to 40 folks that work with her and kind of on her team. So we've got the opportunity to work locally here. And let's dive a little bit into strategy. So if you look at investors, you got opportunities for investors right now. Of course, Airbnb, rental properties are hot. On the renter side, we love to help renters convert them into homeowners because they're going to build their wealth naturally that way.
Oh yeah, matter of fact, I talked to a couple of folks this week. It's always interesting because I talked to one gentleman that he's decided to get into the investment world, and he called me with all these questions, and and because interest rates are so good, and they're a little high, investment properties are a little higher in the interest rate, but it's still excellent. So he was looking at his rate of return, and he was also looking at, okay, I'm putting this money down. I'm actually going to, build wealth by having appreciation on the property, and somebody else is making my mortgage payment. Exactly. And that's the way he looked at it. And he also looked at the average rent increases in this particular building he was purchasing in. And he was just really surprised because he's owned his home for a very long time, and he didn't really keep up with the rental market until he started thinking about it and talking to some friends and things like that. So it's definitely a good time to be an investor, where you do build because you have appreciation, always, it seems to in Florida. It seems like we have at least 4 to 5% typically. Depends on the market, but historically it's right around there. And we sometimes higher in some years. So, and then on the flip side with buyers, renting, they can purchase a home for typically less than what they've actually can rent for. And
yeah.
So I had somebody I was talking to, what they'd say they were going month to month, and because they do want to buy a house eventually, and they were going to raise their rent by like $200 a month since they were going month to month. So now they're in a rush to actually, go ahead and get it done. So it's amazing to me that you can definitely purchase a home if you're paying. If you're paying $1,400 a month, like some of these folks, you can probably get a $250,000 house with, for less than that. So, right. It's kind of amazing that people actually, they're thinking about it, but a lot of them do plan. That's good. If you're thinking about, look at your lease time frame. If it's 6 months, if it's 9 months, if it's 3 months, whatever, start planning for the future if you're on that other side. But we have a lot of people that are actually doing both, buying properties to get out of the renting, but also people that are buying properties to get into the renting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I listen to a special.
If you wait, you run the risk. Of course, the prices are going to go up of the home, and then you run the risk of rates increasing. They've been holding pretty steady, but that's a challenge you want to look at. Also, looking at barriers for people to do this. Sometimes they say, well, I'd have to sell this house first and buy the next house. Talk a little bit about how you strategize with clients when it comes to, having a pre-approval and then also, getting that process going. Yeah.
So basically, depending on their situation, if somebody has, let's say they qualify for both payments, of course, that's an easy fix. But let's say they don't qualify for both payments. What they could do is they could rent out their departure residence to offset, and that permits, if they don't have experience, to offset their mortgage or their taxes, insurance, or whatever, or both, all of it.
Yep.
So it would actually offset that if they do have enough money to purchase a new home. And so we have actually people that they may put a smaller amount of money down on the new home, and then what they do is they'll put their home up for sale. Let's say they put up their home for sale and they have a contract on it, but it's not going to close, and you're out there looking for another property, and you're the new property you want to buy, they want an earlier closing date.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's actually a product that actually, if they have a commitment from the current lender on the house they're trying to sell,
mm-hmm.
we will exclude that payment from that, so they can still go ahead and close on the property with a minimum down payment, and then once they close, then they can go ahead and we aren't going to count that payment against them. And for the mortgage insurance premium, they can actually pay it down. That you can get mortgage insurance removed, and it does take a little bit of time, but you can get the mortgage insurance removed if you want to, or we could do a first and second mortgage on the new house so that you just easily pay off that second mortgage. There's a lot of ways to purchase.
Reach out for a strategy session, 813-750-0550. You can call or text 813-750-0550. We'd love to help you with that. Also, if you want a free comparable market analysis, we'll do a value check for you, let you know what your properties are worth. All right, Diane, thanks so much. We greatly appreciate it.
Thank you. You have a great week, guys. Thanks.
My pleasure. All right, coming up, David Ringo, 3D Solar. Find out about photovoltaic energy and how it can help you minimize your electric cost. It can also help you improve the value of your property, and there's some tax incentives there as well. Stay with us right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Hey, this is Grant Cardone, and you're listening to Consumer Quarterback Show, hosted by my friend Brandon Rhymes. Do not touch that dial. I'll come right through the radio and grab your throat.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
Hey, Brandon Rhymes here, Real Estate Quarterback Show, and talking about the Pinellas County update. Here's the updated residential listings and sales for Pinellas County. At the end of December 2020, the latest statistics from the GTAR, the Real Estate Board, we have over 2,985 properties available for sale at the end of December 2020. Now, out of those 2,985 properties, 2,107 sold. So we're up 172 sales. That's plus 8.9%. So the inventory is down, sales are up, and it's a great market to be in. You had 2,107 sold, divided by the amount of listed, it's a 71% absorption rate. And if you divide that out, that gives you a 1.41 month supply of inventory, meaning it's a strong seller's market. So we would love to talk to you if you're thinking about listing a property. We help sellers maximize the exposure on the sale of their real estate properties by featuring them on our show. Give us a call, 813-750-0550. Call or text 813-750-0550. And check out consumerqb.com. That's consumerqb.com. Thanks so much. Make it a great day, and we'll see you at 4 o'clock drive time on AM 860 The Answer.
My friends, when choosing a listing agent to sell your home, their track record is critically important. Dennis Prager here for Brandon and Lindsay Rhymes, owners of Platinum MVP Team at Keller Williams Real Estate. They're consistently rated by the MLS in the top 1% of all Tampa Bay realtors, and that's a big deal. Brandon and Lindsay are always among the top realtors in the state. Call them today at 813-750-0550.
Find them at platinummvpteam.kw.com.
You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-670-7372.
All right, we're back here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. We'd love to tell you something positive in our feel-good story of the day. So here we go.
Tell me something good.
All right, so you got a COVID vaccine. Picture this, and you talk about core competencies. So you got a COVID-19 vaccination site. Calls a Chick-fil-A manager for help after the traffic backs up. So who else do you call, right? So hospitals in South Carolina launched a drive-through COVID-19 vaccination site to reach more residents, but a glitch in the computer system caused a major backup. So they had to call in professional help. Who did they call? Chick-fil-A manager. So local hospitals in Mount Pleasant opened up the clinic on January 22nd for residents eligible to receive first shots. Long story short, what they did is they created 2 lanes. They ended up talking to the Chick-fil-A manager. The gentleman says, he's donating his professional drive experience here to make it more competent. So he says, at Chick-fil-A, we're about being the most caring company in the world. And when Mayor Heine asked us to come over, we took a look at what their drive-through system was. We saw a little hookup in their drive-through system and needed some more people. So we gathered some of the wonderful Rotary volunteers, went down there and just was able to expedite the registration part. And then they transformed that traffic jam into a smooth operation, reducing the hours-long wait to just 15 minutes. So there you go. Call Chick-fil-A if you need to speed things up in your drive-through setup. All right, so here we are on the Consumer Quarterback Show. We help you win in any marketplace, of course. That's our goal. We want to be a consumer advocate and be a resource for you here. And let's give a shout-out to Brothers Easy Moving. The official moving partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show is Brothers Easy Moving, whether you're planning a local or long-distance move. Brothers Easy Moving, I highly recommend them. First-class experience from a first-hand experience as well with them. They moved my family a while back to our lake house. So Brothers Easy Moving, let them know the Real Estate Quarterback sent you. All right, we got David Ringo here joining us. David Ringo, 3D Solar. He's a solar expert right here in Tampa Bay. Hey, David.
Brandon, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing well, my friend. How about yourself?
I'm doing well, but after seeing you, I feel underdressed. You look great today, man.
Oh, thanks, buddy. I got when the cold weather comes, I can break out the suits a little bit,
There you go. I like that. I should have done that. So, yeah.
Yeah, man. So what's new in the 3D world and the solar world, man? Things are going well?
Yeah, things are going really well. The outlook for us is great for the industry in general. The 26% tax credit got rolled over for 2 more years, which is fantastic. That was to go down to 22% this year, so we're actually able to take advantage of that tax credit for a couple more years, which is great.
Yeah, that's great.
So, yeah, absolutely. And so the one thing that I guess I'd like to talk about today, if I have the open floor here, is how the only thing I want to talk about is electric costs going up.
Yeah.
We hear a lot of things about solar this, solar that won't add value to your home. It's too expensive. You hear all the objections, and it's you just need to be educated on that because there's a lot of people that just need to be educated on the process. But one thing that I want to point out, I noticed as I started looking around yesterday just for some information for this show. I don't know if you have Duke, I think, correct? You're a Duke client?
I believe so.
Yeah, so I just noticed yesterday just TECO alone asked for 18%. They're looking for an 18% rate hike.
Whoa, just 1 year? Year over year?
Just this next year they're looking to go up 18%. So,
holy cow.
Which doesn't sound like much. It really doesn't sound like much. I mean, it does. It does sound like much.
18%.
When we estimate people's electric costs going up annually, we estimate 4%, and that's usually a 1% lower than the average. It usually goes up about 5%. Especially nationally, it's more than 5%.
Yeah.
But for us, we try to be conservative, 3 to 4%. escalation is what we call it, and it does go up that much. But so TECO's going up 18%. They're going to ask. I don't know if they're going to approve for 18, but it's kind of like a kid asking for, I want the whole box of candy, and you settle for half. So let's say they settle for 12 cents. But that's this year, and you never know what it's going to go up to next year. But let's just put that in perspective.
Who do they ask, by the way, David? When you say they're asking for that?
I can't remember who they have to go in front of, but I can't recall.
County Commission,
I just had that
maybe?
article.
Something like that?
Probably. Yeah, probably
State
something
Commission.
like that.
State Commission, John said, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So if you have $200 electric bill, it's just going to go $236 every month. I mean, it's a little bit every month. An extra $40 on a $200 electric bill every month.
Yep.
And it's never going to go back down.
Exactly.
So then next year, what's it going to go to? And then the year after that, what's it going to go to? But so the headline, not only does it say in the same headline that they're asking to go up to 18%, but do you know why they're going up 18%?
They're going to say that it's an increased cost of supplies, increased cost of labor. Who knows? Maybe taxes affecting them. Is that what it is? Like the raw materials going in?
It's even better than that, because I think it's hysterical. But they're asking 18% increase in rates so they can purchase solar. Oh man! So TECO is asking for, if you think about 18%, if you look at it, 18%. Let's just say it's a fifth of what you're paying, right? Yeah. So let's just say it's 20%. Now they're asking for that so they can build solar fields so that they can turn around and create a cheaper form of electricity to charge you this 18% more. So it's amazing to me. If you look around, what utility companies are doing, they're also the banks and credit unions are doing the same thing. And when I talk to homeowners that say it just doesn't make sense financially or whatever, it's just, I just can't reach out to them enough and say, listen, I need you to watch Duke, TECO, FPL, all your utility companies. Right. Watch what they're doing, how much they're wanting to charge you, and then on top of that, what they're charging you for. Because, like you said, I let you kind of go with the, what you thought it was going to be, all the labor increases and all that stuff, and I wish it was that. Right. Because you could almost justify some of that, but for you to go buy solar to make power cheaper to charge me more money, I can't stand that. So
yeah, David Ringo, 3D Solar here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. 3D Solar, local area expert. You've heard him on the show for years now. Longtime friend of the program, supporting the local economy by supporting David and his company. And we greatly appreciate all those who reach out to our hotline. You can reach out at 813-750-0550. Call or text that line if you're interested. Want to sit down consultation, 813-750-0550, and definitely not a high sales pitch or high pressure pitch at all from David Ringo, 3D Solar. And David, what I was going to say too is when they're buying land and they're putting in these solar farms, that's arable land. That's food that we could be farming. That's land that we could be farming, rather than the way you do it is you put it on top of people's homes, which is on their roof, and 95% of the time probably, and that's we can't grow too much food on top of there. We're not doing that yet, but at some point we're going to run out of arable land to farm either.
I agree. Now that the COVID seems to be thinning out a little bit, at least, I'm starting to move around and start driving around a lot more. And I can't get over how many homes are going up. Like you said, the land is really disappearing, and Florida's got a ridiculous amount of land, outside in rural areas that are just fields and fields and fields, what used to be groves, right? Yep. And they're just putting houses up everywhere. And I'm with you. I've never been a fan of putting solar in a field that you could do something with. Even small amounts is going to come back and it's going to be a big deal.
Got about a minute left for you, Dave.
Okay. Yeah. So we've got people doing 1,200 acres of solar. They're expecting to do that, and that's just a huge waste. But no, we love putting solar on a home and saving people energy and not affecting their yard and what they can do with nature in their yard, So you got a good point about the ground mounts and all that stuff. So
that's right. And I can tell you from firsthand experience, David and his team came out and outfitted my home with solar. We've got a low monthly payment. Once we get year 7 or 8, whatever year that is, 9, we're living, basically off the power grid. We've got solar coming in. Yes, we will have a small monthly payment. You can't technically be off the grid. But back to you, David. Got about 20 seconds for you.
Yeah, so I guess more than anything, I just want people to watch out what people are saying to you in the home. Be careful. Go with your gut instinct and watch what the utility companies are wanting to charge you, because it does go up every year. It really does make sense. Some people still think the numbers don't work, but just let somebody sit down and explain it to you.
Absolutely. All right, David, thanks so much, my friend. David Ringo, 3D Solar. And we'll
Thank
see you next
man.
time.
Have a great day.
All right, brother. Hey, please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness. We had a great show. We had Sheriff Bob Gualtieri on the show earlier. We had Diane Vance and, of course, David Ringo rounding us out. Great show. The theme is go out there and support your local economy, commit a random act of kindness, and do something kind for one another. We'll see you next time. Consumer Quarterback Show, ConsumerQB.com.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Contact Brandon Rhymes at 813-670-7372. That's 813-670-7372. Online at ConsumerQB.com. And join us next time for The Consumer Quarterback Show.